Welcome to the Insurance Brokers Podcast, Helpful Hints. Here we break down the best, most informative bits of our full-length interviews.
One of the conversations we had, I believe it was the back end of last year, was about conversations between brokers and underwriters and the type of conversations that really need to be going on there to understand the rating increases that are coming across and how they should best be spread across a portfolio and the implications of that not happening. Can you sort of enlighten us on your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so under the umbrella of sort of the hardening market, and the market, certainly is hardening. It was hardening at the back end of 2020, and I anticipate that it will continue throughout this year and to a certain element of 2022. The first thing which a hard market does effectively, it tests and challenges all relationships. So it will challenge a broker's relationship with their capacity or their insurers in terms of, the strength of that relationship, the transparency, the collaboration, and effectively, shine a very, very bright light on the underwriting performance of that broker's account with insurers. It does very much the same for MGAs. As you know, MGAs are acting as agents of the insurers. But again, a hardening market, again, tests that relationship, especially around portfolios which may be marginal or underperforming from that perspective. And of course, last but by no means least, brokers' own relationships with the end customer. And if you put all that together and you try to throw a blanket and some words at what should be done, words such as engagement, consistency, clear messaging, professional advice, testing the fact that you've been talking to your customer, be that the end customer, your insurer partner, your broker, if you're an MGA, on a regular basis. So therefore having a sort of a meaningful breadth and depth relationship, then the messaging and narrative around rate strengthening, it will be difficult, but shouldn't be insurmountable. Where it becomes insurmountable on that value chain, Sarah, is where you haven't had, regular engagement, collaboration, transparency, good conversations around portfolio, both for growth, both for sort of re-underwriting. If that's been basically silent or passive, I'll probably use the word passive, then when you get into a rate strengthening market, it becomes ever so difficult because you've got no, how can I describe it? You've got no cushion of narrative or cushion of conversations you can refer back to where you say, well, remember when we were talking about, what would happen if this would happen?
The
you've
bank
got
of trust.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic phrase. You've got no bank of trust, to use or to steal your phrase, to go back on. And that unfortunately will be a symptom and will be happening in the market currently. But again, the professional MGAs, the ones which, we talked about, which have got a real forensic handle on their risk appetite, their their portfolio, their data, their distribution, who really operate as insurers, but, as an MGA, then the hard market is just something else they will absorb and they will continue successfully. There'll be some bumps, but those bumps will be sort of low gradient as opposed to some very high gradient bumps, which those who haven't displayed that in the past, have to deal with.